So this is a segment called What Would Luffy Do? Yes, the future king of the pirates, Monkey D. Luffy from One Piece. What would he do in XYZ situation? So let's start with, for today's segment, we're focusing on the issue of censorship, banning, suspensions, in social media. The biggest story there, as we all know probably, is Alex Jones got taken down from all sorts of different social media outlets, Apple, part of Apple, YouTube, not Twitter, and Facebook, I believe. Also, we have had issues with Twitter, contrary to some people's beliefs. A satirical account, Peter Douche, making fun of Peter Dow, had his Twitter account taken down quite a while ago. We've had sort of a tangent to talking about another contrary to popular belief kind of things. Liberal accounts have been attacked, as we've seen with pro-Palestine BDS kind of pages, and as we've seen with the Peter Douche thing, as I just mentioned, and as we've seen with the demonetization of various videos and accounts on YouTube of various liberals, like Kyle Kalinski's Secular Talk, and there was another one, David Pacman, I think, was demonetized. Also, Jimmy Dore talks about it all the time. He's very interesting, and understandably so, but you know, he's looking for that stuff. And most recently with that even, Jamal Thomas got his account entirely demonetized because of some sort of obscure claim of him, like, putting out someone else's copyrighted stuff. You know, like a complete, like, carbon copy, not like, oh, this is my commentary on someone else's copyright thing. It's like, you know, if it's just the blanket YouTube statement that's sort of like, oh, you just copied someone else's shit, so we're taking down your account. It's like, well, be nice if they gave him, like, some, like, human written details on what exactly it was, but apparently they didn't, so that's unfortunate. But so those are that's the left, and that's Twitter. But to finalize this sort of Twitter thing, and the most recent one, TJ Kirk got his entire account taken off of Twitter because of satire. Yes, satire. Oh, we also had the weird thing with the Declaration of Independence, or I think it was the Declaration of Independence being being taken down off some news site got a strike or something, for hate speech because they said stuff about, like, slavery and the Indians and crap like that, or something like that. I've never read the Declaration of Independence, as you can tell. So TJ Kirk got his account suspended from Twitter for just satire, making fun of, like, what did you call that? I don't even know if you wouldn't call that social justice warriors. I guess you could just call, I mean, it's the same sort of line of thing. I mean, it's not the same line of things. It's the counter attack, or the counter defense for white people against white hate, or what is believed to be white hate. I don't know if this Zhang person, I don't remember her name. I didn't even barely see I don't even know who she is. I know who Kirk is, I don't know who she is, so I don't know her name. But it was a response to this woman who now works for the New York Times tweet about hating, enjoying old white men suffering or something like that. It didn't seem like a very pleasant tweet. So back to what would Luffy do in this situation of censorship. So, if Luffy was censored for saying something hateful or offensive or something like that, well, my first question would be, what's the situation? What's the scenario? What's this thing? So let's work together a story for you here. Nice little fan-based story. What happened? What did Luffy write that a giant corporation or an algorithm or an oligarch or some biased, dumb, or evil worker for a giant corporation would think is bad enough to ban his entire account? What would Luffy's tweet be? Well, well, here's the thing. So, Luffy would probably Luffy talks about fighting all the time. He's in a very, very actively fighting world where it's just like, you know, he just makes no hesitation to say who he'll punch out, who he'll fight, who he'll whatever. So this is where it would be going. My guess is it's something like yes, I punched a Celestial Dragon in the face, and I would do it again if, you know, given the situation that there was another slave market where one of my friends was up for auction. I was like, I would punch that Celestial Dragon, gobble gobble no! Hawk Rifle or something. Hawk Rifle, I don't even know, I think they're, whatever. Ignore any misconstrued fight terms. So he openly talking on social media about punching Celestial Dragons, would definitely get Monkey D. Luffy's account banned on Twitter. So, as is with Monkey D. Luffy in these situations, he's a very straightforward, one-track mind, straight line kind of, run in one direction kind of person. Very expansive though. You get the rubber elasticity to him, so that works well to his advantage. He's flexible. But more than likely he would end up just going, you know, running straight off to Twitter headquarters, wherever that is, trying to beat up whoever the Twitter president or CEO is. That's what Luffy would do. This is all fictional, keep in mind. Because Monkey D. Luffy does not exist. He's an anime, he's a cartoon. I don't know if I need to point this out to you people. This is impossible. There's no one here with rubber devil fruit powers who's gonna go out and like rubber punch the CEO or president of Twitter or whoever owns them. Just a clarification. But this is what Luffy would do. Because if anyone's standing in his way, he fights them. In the way of his dreams or desires, if someone's standing in his way, likely in some evil fashion, trying to block his path towards his goals of being king of the pirates, Luffy then says, I'm going to fight you, I'm going to beat you up, Buto Bass, you know, Tatakai, you know, whatever. You're gonna get out of my way. I'm gonna be the king of the pirates. So he would probably show up, yelling just that. in the lobby of whatever headquarters this Twitter place is, and it would get security on him, and they would throw some kuroseki handcuffs on him somehow magically. But you know, every now and then he slips up, kuroseki handcuffs get on him, C-stone for those of you who don't think of those terms. And he would not be able to use his rubber powers, and they would probably like kick him out or something, or throw him in a you know, temporary holding cell there. And this is the point where this sort of magical point of Luffy, where even though he's a straightforward goer and he just moves in one direction, one-track mind on his goal, he has a magnetism about him. You know, it's a very distinct magnetism about him. Luck, sort of like this fated sort of destiny kind of thing going on, where Luffy always ends up finding the right person at the right time in the right situation. He just ends up there for whatever reason. Maybe because he's going in that direction, maybe because he inspires someone. Whatever the case is, the stars have aligned for Luffy. And in this case, it'd probably be like a social media kind of thing. Someone ended up seeing a video posted on social media of Luffy going batshit crazy in this lobby of Twitter. And a tech man with a dream of creating a beautiful platform where everyone can truly speak freely will have seen this, and will have been inspired, despite the suppression of his desires in society, to then go out and say, hey, Luffy, let's join forces. And Luffy, still very one-track mind, will be, you know, maybe they'll meet in the holding cell together somehow. You know, who knows? This is just stumbling upon each other in some way, shape, or form. This will be before Luffy can even come back out and go off and do other things, because, you know, the minute he breaks free of those stone handcuffs, he's gonna be going off to try and fight the Twitter powerful, the Twitter garks, Twitter oligarchs, the Twitter garks. He doesn't have any other plans. That's his one plan. That's where he's going, because he wants to be able to say, yell meat at the top of his lungs on Twitter all day long and say how he's gonna be king of the pirates and find One Piece. So, let's say they meet in this holding cell, because this is an interesting one. Meet in this holding cell, this guy finally decided to take action, and he took action in such a way that security got him as well. Because this guy has an idea, the greatest idea. The way he can make his brilliant, flourishing, you know, social ecosystem, social networking platform, is that he wants to get a devil's fruit. Let's call it the tech fruit. I don't think there is a tech no me, but if there is, well, this is fan-based, so this is completely made up. There ain't no tech. We'll just assume that Oda has not made any tech no me yet. I think it was Oda, or is Oda Naruto? I will ignore my lack of knowledge of who the writers are. My apologies, I will look you up later and talk about you at some point correctly. But the tech fruit. Tech no me. Tech no. Alright, like, so that sounds like techno, so let's get past that. So he's trying to break into the president or the CEO's office to get this tech fruit and eat it and become the tech fruit user. Doesn't work out. He ends up in the holding cell with Luffy, and they start talking. And, you know, this guy starts finally speaking his dream of making this beautiful social media platforming site, and exactly how he's going to create it and exactly what it is. And Luffy is not paying attention to all the details here, because that's not his thing. But the details are really cool, like they always are. Really, really, really cool. And in this case, it's this solution to, you know, to private giant corporations with no accountability in anything. This, you know, it's one of the solutions. We've got unionization, which wouldn't be this guy's thing. We've got public utility stuff. These are all sorts of different options you can do to fight sort of private monopolization and you know, rampant, overpowered well, not evil capitalism, but capitalism gone wrong. That's what I'm saying. You know, capitalism gone too far. So his idea is this third one. He wants to create a giant social media platform, a social media cooperative, a social media co-op. Where everyone has a say who signs up and becomes a member of this social media platform, and everyone has a controlling force or a power in this organization. It's not this sort of weird top-down president to minor worker. It's the workers, it's the proletariat who have the power in this co-op. And that's not even that's not communism. That can work in a capitalist system. So. Shut your face. Alright. So he talks about this dream and this goal, and he needs to, and Luffy just simplifies all of this, of course, and he's like, so you need to get this devil's fruit in the president's office. It's like, that's how he thinks. It's like, okay, so the goal is to get a devil's fruit. Let's do that. Let's get this devil's fruit. And so they're talking about it, and there's this, of course, as is the tradition of this. Just keep true to the show a little bit. This guy, not as charismatic or as well-thinking as Luffy, he's part of this society that likes to suppress people's passions and desires and innovations and doesn't really help people lift themselves up, more knocks people down. That's the society we live in. So naturally this person is in this society and drained and not excited and not thinking in the sort of positive of what can I do in this situation, thinking there is nothing we can do, as is everything we hear from, like, all the people who don't vote in politics, as well as all the people who don't bother to try and do anything meaningful for life and society. There's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do in this situation. What could we possibly do? The politics is corrupt. This is owned by powerful corporations. That is that. It's a two-party system. What can we do? We can't do anything here. So, then, there's nothing we can do. Kind of mentality comes out again, as is this pattern, this speech that we have. How could we possibly get all the way up there to the president's office when we're locked in this holding cell? And of course, at this point, Luffy's out of the Kuroseki handcuffs, and then we got the, Kuroseki bars all wrapped around this cell, so they can't go anywhere. And at this point, the one-track mind of Luffy that doesn't think too deeply about all of these things, but didn't realize this part of it, because naturally he doesn't realize all these things. It's like, oh, so like the president's or the CEO's office is all the way up at the top there. Looks up, that wall ain't Kuroseki. Go, no! breaks through the ceiling, and they're off. They get this. Eventually, they get up to the top there. They get the tech fruit. This guy eats it. Perhaps there's some sort of massive boss fight against a security guard who's trying to hold them back down, or if he's really evil, maybe he's trying to attack them. Maybe he's trying to take them out. Under the guise of being in the right, but not really, as is with those with power, who are trying to create a facade of a system that's just. So they get the tech fruit, they get going out of there. Perhaps the president isn't even there. He flies off in a helicopter. Luffy doesn't get to him. We find another way to luckily focus Luffy back to the right things, because at this point in time, this guy's got the tech fruit. Luffy's got his avenue to say what he wants online to help him along the way towards becoming the Pirate King. He can say whatever about eating meat or being hungry or whatever he wants online, again, as long as this guy uses his tech fruit powers in a magnificent way. So, first and foremost thing is he uses Luffy's charisma, Luffy's, and I'm saying, in case you guys aren't part of an anime crowd, Monkey D. Luffy, his middle initial D. I'm not saying like the D. Oh, here's Luffy's dick. Oh, no. None of that. Using his D-force, whatever that is. Destiny, dreams, dominant power. Probably not dominant. I don't like that. That'd be lame. Using his conqueror's hockey charisma. And this tech fruit eater now just, hacks all the computers in the world practically, and puts Luffy up on the screen in all languages. And Luffy just yells out, of course, straight up, first thing he says every time he gets, like, a phone or a Denmushi or whatever, snail phone, whatever he gets, first thing he says first thing he says on camera here is, I'm gonna be the king of the pirates, I'm gonna find One Piece. Completely irrelevant to the goals here, but it's a part of it. But he uses his conqueror's hockey, and, in some sort of way, brings up, probably not in a terribly intellectual way, this new social media networking site that this tech fruit eater has now created. And everyone being compelled, if not passed out by this conqueror's hockey, being compelled to listen to it, being impressed and driven towards this, decides, hey, this is a great idea. I'm going to join this site. And swarms of people start joining as members of this cooperative site. Cooperative social networking site where free speech ain't no problem. And where individuals are, ultimately have say and power in this organization. No longer constrained to the whim of a select few controlling power, a select rich, powerful few. So people start finally being inspired and compelled to go to this site that this tech user has called, let's say he named it the New Network, newnetwork.com, newnetwork.org, newnetwork. Whatever. And suddenly overnight, or even over a few hours, it becomes the most popular social media site on the internet, dwarfing all of the rest. dwarfing all the ones in other languages, dwarfing all the ones around the world. You know, dwarfing the ones in every different country, state, area that has internet in its abundance, without a lot of censorship from their countries, which was a whole other problem. From their governments, you know. And then the cooperative starts, and the people are then a part of a grand, beautifully made social media platform, just made excellently thanks to the expertise of the Tech Devil Fruit. And then Luffy just, you know, goes back to the pirate ship and sails off. Sails off looking for One Piece again. Maybe they've got a computer on the Sunny now. I don't know. Work with me here. He doesn't spend that much time on it. He's more interested in food. But when he does, it's to make posts like who he's gonna fight, what he's gonna eat, or that he's going to become king of the pirates. So he doesn't have a huge following. He has a following enough from people who are impressed by his feats. And perhaps most people post about him, like newspapers and whatnot, about like, oh, Enies Lobby, oh my goodness, what just happened at the Marineford? Oh my goodness, what just happened here? I wonder what's gonna happen at wonder, you know, Big Mama, Cake Island. Wonder what's gonna happen here with the land of the samurais next. The land of Wano. Yeah. Oh, it's a mystery. Let's see. And that is what Luffy would do.